Junior Cycle Higher Level 2014 Phase 3 Paper 1 Question 1. This is a reasonably straightforward question. Settle you down into the paper. To be honest with you, it should not cause any major problems. So this is a basic number problem, and just ask set numbers in order. Well, it shouldn't take you too long to convert these into a format that will allow you to compare and contrast. So decimals are pretty good as a way of being able to compare. So we know that 3 halves is going to be 1.5. 1.4 is already in decimal form, and for the root 2 you might wish to get your calculator and type root 2 and then press the SD button to get it in decimal form, and it's 1.41, etc, etc. So we see as a result, starting with the smallest, we've got 1.4, then we've got root 2, then we've got 3/2, and it's worth your while then actually writing them out then in order. If you don't do that, you're in the risk of losing marks. Moving on to part B. Again, this should be a reasonably straightforward question if you have paid attention to your definitions for what is a natural number, an integer, a rational number, an irrational number, or indeed definition of a real number. So a rational number is anything that can be written as a fraction, where you have one number divided by another number, and both those numbers, the numerator and the denominators, are both just integers, both whole numbers. So 3 and 1/7, well, 3 times 7 is 21, add the 1 gives you 22/7, so that can be written as a fraction. You've already got 22/7, that gets written as a fraction. The 3.142, well, it's truncated, it stops, it's only got 3 decimal places, so that number is the same as 3,142 divided by 1,000. So that's a fraction. And in fact, to be honest with you, I don't think you really should needed to have done any of that workings, because you should just know that pi is not a rational number. It cannot be written as a fraction. It has a never-ending list of decimal places. Okay, an infinite number of decimal places that are not recurring in any way whatsoever cannot be written as a fraction. So pi is not a rational number. Now, in terms of explaining your answer, to a certain extent, I think it's perfectly reasonable just to know that pi is a irrational number. Okay, and I think that would be acceptable. If you knew it's irrational and it stated it's irrational, I think that's acceptable. But as I said to you, I've gone through all the other numbers and I've been able to show all the other numbers that can be written as a fraction. Therefore, by sort of process of elimination, pi is the only one that can't be. Moving on to part C. We have a function here, an expression, 4n squared plus 1 divided by 13, and we have a set of values for n, a domain of values for n, and they're basically asking us to substitute it into the function and see what happens. So, 4 lots of 17 squared plus 1, all divided by 13, and the same for 19. And the same for 21. So it's just a case of just working through each of those and working out what they are. So you want to see, just get your calculator out, tap, tap, tap. And we get our 3 answers of 89, 111.154, blah, 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 and 135.769, blah, blah, blah. So that's reasonably straightforward, and state which one of your answers is a natural number. We should know what a natural number is. It's a positive whole number, and clearly we can see that 17, value of 17 gives us our answer of 89, okay, because it's a positive whole number. Okay, and that's all that you need to say. You've given the definition of a natural number.